Okay, hello everyone, and trying not to get emotional, but it's been a quarter of a century, and I cannot believe that we are seeing a room full of so many wonderful people and wonderful friends, which is the reason why we are here today. So thank you so much. So, wow, 25 years. I started this organization. It was part of my master's project when I was a student at Stony Brook University, studying, yes, Stony Brook, go Seawolves, when I was studying for my master's in social work. And quite honestly, it came down to our last semester where we had to choose to either do a master's thesis or a master's project. And I was like, thesis, it's another paper. I don't feel like writing another paper. So I'm going to do a project. And the project was to create a curricula to go out into Long Island schools to talk about what it was like to grow up LGBT. So created this curricula, got into a few schools, and when I say got into a few schools, sounds like it was a secretive mission and on the down low, and it pretty much was, and wound up conducting 7 workshops all the way from Mineola out to East Hampton and places in between. And no matter where we did this, in Mineola or East Hampton or in the Sachem School District or in Uniondale, the reaction from the kids was exactly the same. At the end of the 42 minutes, they would shuffle their papers, they would hit them on the floor, and they would then wait till everyone else left the classroom so they felt safe to come up and ask the gay speaker a question. And that question was the same, whether in Mineola, East Hampton, or in between. And that question simply was, is there any place I could go just to meet other people like myself? And that's when I said, you know what, this project needs to become something more, and started an organization called Long Island Gay and Lesbian Youth Illegally. We have many of Legally's alum here tonight too. And so 25 years later, the organization is working in over 110 of the island's 127 school districts, providing education, anti-bullying work. Since we expanded into the borough of Queens and into New York City, we're working with over 90 schools in New York City. So together, the organization works with over 200 schools, impacting tens of thousands of students. But who thought back in 1993 that the fifth largest LGBT center organization in the United States would be on Long Island? Who thought that in 1993 there would be education about LGBT people and issues in more than 110 Long Island school districts? Who thought that in 1993 that Long Island would be the place leading the nation in organizing and holding America's first ever suburban prom for LGBT youth? Who thought that in 1993 that Long Island would be the place that is building the first affordable LGBT-friendly senior housing in the tri-state area in Bayshore? And who thought in 1993 that Long Island would be the ones to pave the way to break down some of the most difficult barriers of homophobia in professional sports when we, along with Congressman Steve Israel, hosted the first ever Pride Night in New York professional sports history with the New York Mets, now the New York Islanders, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Knicks just called us this week, and there's more to come. And whoever thought in 1993 that Long Island would be the place where the first and only chartered Parent-Teachers Association that focuses in on LGBT youth would be started right here on Long Island and still exists with over 150 members, active members in the Long Island Gay PTSA. So whoever thought that 23 years ago that we, all of us here, would be the ones to accomplish this? And it is quite remarkable. It is quite remarkable, and a big part of the reason is because all of you that are here tonight, so many people out there in every community from Mineola to Montauk that listened, that cared, that opened up their hearts and minds, and that provided support, emotional and financial. And together, we all did this together. We have transformed Long Island in a quarter of a century into a much better, safer, more inclusive, and welcoming place. So thank you all so much. This has been a team effort. Now, we have accomplished so much, but there is so far to go. Listen, we know what we are dealing with in the White House. It is not pretty, right? It is a scary situation and a dangerous situation of who is in the White House right now and who is in Congress and the Senate. And we must change that in a couple of weeks, right? We must change that in a couple of weeks. We must also strengthen who is leading New York and make sure that our Lieutenant Governor, who's here tonight, is reelected with the New York team of Governor Cuomo, Comptroller Tom DiNapoli, and Attorney General Letitia James, too. That's going to be very important. Now, there is so much data out there. You know, we've talked about it, about bullying, that 85% of LGBT students experience harassment at school because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. A third of them consider skipping school or do skip school because of that bullying. Suicide. We saw the story of David Hernandez Barros, and we've also, unfortunately, have lost some of our other youth along the way, Adam Kaplan. And, you know, I'd like to recognize their parents who are here tonight. David Hernandez's parents, Carmita Barros, and sister Gabby Hernandez, and Adam Kaplan's parents, Lynn and Art Kaplan, who are part of our family, and we make sure to keep David and Adam's memory alive, and we work so hard on behalf of them. But LGBT youth are 5 times as likely to have attempted suicide compared to heterosexual youth, and 41% of transgender youth have also attempted suicide. Now, these are statistics, right? But behind all these statistics are people. They're real people. They are your children. They are our children. They are our sons. They are our daughters. They are our brothers. They are our sisters. They are our aunt. They are our uncle. They are our co-worker. They are our friend. And that's why we all join together as one to make sure that this issue is not just an LGBT issue. We are here tonight because so many people have joined the cause of making Long Island a safe space for all. Now, yesterday, there was some recent news. I don't know if everyone heard about what President Trump is attempting to do, but President Trump is essentially trying to erase the transgender community from existence. Exactly. We won't be erased. Exactly. We won't be erased. But what he is trying to do is roll back some Obama-era protections that extended to transgender students in school, to have a very narrow definition of what sex is. You know, and so we had this press conference yesterday so that we could lift the voices of our Long Island transgender youth really out there, because that really is what makes the difference. And while this press conference was going on, certainly I was angry. I called President Trump what I think he is, a tyrant, a dictator, and we got to be very careful about what we have seen in our history about what tyrants and dictators do when they try to erase a group of people. You know, we have to be real diligent. But what broke my heart was when our youth leaders, Ashley and Zach, got up there to speak and spoke about the fear that they have because of this. You know, and it gets us back to what this is really all about. This is about people, all of us, real people. Now, one reporter asked if I had any hope with Trump, and honestly, I don't. But that doesn't mean I'm hopeless. Right? I have a lot of hope, and I have a lot of hope because 25 years ago, kids asked us if they could just simply have a place to meet other people like themselves, and now they do. They have that and more. They have 5 LGBT centers. They have this because of the great work and leadership of the LGBT Network board and staff. They have this because of your support, your love, and our united front to make Long Island a safe, equal, and just home for all. And they have this because we continue to tear down walls and build bridges with everyone. No one is off limits about who we work with, who we talk to. We think everyone is a part of this cause. And they have this because we're continuing to help to open hearts and minds. So thank you once again. You know, I really consider myself to be one of the luckiest persons, one of the luckiest people to have met, worked with, partied with, organized with, and worked with so many great people who are here in this room and not here in this room, and so many friends to create this monumental and historic change. And I look forward to continuing this as we move forward together. Thank you.